what I can say right now is more about like learning how to create and tell a story. Storytelling is everything, right? Knowing how to market yourself, where to market to, who to collab with, what moves to make as far as like doing collaborations, doing mastermind dinners. Like there's a lot of details that go into it. But in a sense, like number one for personal brand is learning how to storytell, and a lot of people don't know how to do that.
What it is, Brad Lee, back again with another episode of Dropping Bombs. Today in the studio, folks, I got a real treat as always. Joe Vargas, better known at Hustler, is in the house. What's cracking?
What's happening?
Most people don't know your name's Joe.
Yeah, I usually go by Hustler, but it's all right.
Yeah, Hustler, at Hustler on Instagram. You guys can follow him if you want to. You guys might also know him as Joe Vargas. But, you know, dude, a lot of people know you for a lot of things. You've been in the entrepreneur space for quite some time.
Yeah.
You were like, you paid like big dollars for some website once. What was it?
The CBD website.
Did that ever make you any money?
It made me money, yeah. I ended up selling it.
So guys, Joe owns buylegalmeds.com, which is CBD.
Right, yeah.
Why isn't it more now? You can sell weed legally now. Why don't you add that to the repertoire?
Because we can't ship it.
Oh, why can't you? The feds won't let you?
No.
Is there a non-federal shipping option?
Non-federal? No, just as long as it's below 0.3% Delta 9 THC, we can ship it. But there's also limitations on where we can ship it, but I play in the gray area.
So although weed's legal, you can't ship it.
Right.
If you ship it,
then it's illegal.
You're a felonious individual.
Right, yeah.
Well, then you don't want to ship it. But I don't know how this is happening, but I'm going to hit send so it stops. Our conversation was just text to you.
Oh, really?
Dude, Apple's listening.
Of course.
Whether you think they are or not.
Of course. They're
Anyway,
also taking, your phone takes photos of you.
Every 5 seconds.
Yep. You've seen that.
Yeah.
Infrared.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But folks, so he's been an entrepreneur a long time, man. He's been here on the show before. Last time you were on the show, we probably talked about, buylegalmeds.com, the website that you purchased, et cetera, et cetera. This time, dude, one of the reasons I had you back is because you piqued my curiosity when you said we can talk about the entrepreneur space where people either, I think you said, go into jail or.
Oh yeah.
Just the I wanted to hear more about that because one of the things when I said, what are you talking about? Like Brett Knudsen.
Yeah. Do you remember Brett, right?
Totally.
Yeah. He ended up, I don't want to get too graphic here, but he ended up molesting his stepkids, filming it for later pleasure. Everybody found out. He went on the run from the FBI. The FBI found him in some golf course, I think in Iowa or Idaho, and they arrested him.
Now he's sitting in prison.
Yep.
Does anybody know how long he got?
No, I don't know anything.
Because, dude, that's not a 2 or 3 years and you're back out.
No.
Like, dude, to me, if you do that, how little were these kids?
I want to say like 5, 9, 12.
See, to me, that's death penalty shit. Or at least life.
For sure.
Don't be fucking with kids. Period.
Yeah.
So again, Brett seemed like a legit dude, nice dude. That's how you never know. You never know.
Yeah, it was shocking, to be honest with you. I think for a lot of people.
Wasn't he your buddy? Weren't you guys close?
No. Dude, in this space, at the time, you remember like the peak hustler, all the money that I used to post and blowing shit up. And before I got married and had a kid and settled down a little bit, everybody's come to my old house to party and for my Millionaire dinners and he would come, and he was kind of like attached to you.
Not me, motherfucker. Don't attach him to me. He wouldn't attach to
many
me.
others, but whoever was doing something, he would attach himself to that scenario.
To me, dog.
Yeah.
No. Negative.
He was here last time I was here.
Yeah, he's been to Lightspeed.
I know. That's your relationship is just like mine. I wasn't friends. I was just like an acquaintance, and he came around when I had events.
Just checking.
Yeah.
But no, realistically, all kidding aside, that dude. But what are some other ones? You said that Brendan Teeger guy?
Oh, yeah.
He went to jail?
So, I mean, if you look at his Instagram, he disappeared since 2020. Like he either went to jail or he died. No one knows.
Well, maybe he just decided to get off social media.
A lot of people were looking for him because lawsuits. Yeah.
Yeah.
That, dude. At The Investor on Instagram, The FBI called me about him. He raised.
I never met that guy.
Yeah, the name is Justin. It's the investor on Instagram. The FBI called me about him because he raised $3 million from investors, told them that he was raising the money for something specific, and then used the money for something else. And one of the programs that he bought into was my CBD program at the time. So that's why I got the call from the FBI, because they're like, hey, we're just trying to figure out all this money that he ended up spending. Can you tell us more about what he spent the money on with you? It was like 25 grand, 50 grand. And I told them, and they said, all right. I said, do I need to do anything? They're like, no. And then she actually told me, like, go ahead. And I was like, is this serious? And I was like, I get it that the FBI is calling me, but about him, because I was kind of shocked. And she was like, here, Google his name and put FBI. And then the article came out. It's on the FBI website. Yeah.
Well, there's a couple, but you always will discover if people are real or not over time.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the people that I don't know, but I mean, I saw them and you used to see them a lot, but then now you don't really see them anymore. No. What happened to them?
Yeah. They're either broke and hiding or prison or dead. Like,
what about the Bull Evans, Jeremiah the Bull?
I don't know him.
Yeah. Someone I saw an article on him that was like tearing him big time down, but I'm starting to see him reappear.
You remember Ecom
He seemed like a nice guy. No, never met that guy. You said he died?
Aaron Chavez, yeah, his security guard killed him.
Killed him how?
You didn't hear about this?
Killed him how?
So blows to the head.
Was it in Colombia?
No, It was here in Vegas, and then he drove the body. He killed him with forced blows to the head. And this has happened recently, like a month or two ago.
The guy hired to protect him killed him.
They were living together and killed him. Drove to California, had his body in the trunk. He went to go chop it up. He went on the side of the road, started digging a hole so he can bury it. Ended up falling fucking asleep with his body in the hole in the car. The tow truck, I guess, saw the car, came, saw that he was sleeping, saw the dead body in the hole with Aaron's body, and then fucking took off and then called the feds. And then he got arrested for it. Fell asleep with a dead body in the hole. It's fucked up. But rumor has it, I can't confirm it. It's not really my business to confirm, but I just heard some things going around that Aaron owed a lot of people money from the programs that he was doing. And supposedly someone in Miami was a bit upset and supposedly paid for a hit. And then the security guard, I think that stemmed from the security guard had videos of it all happening, and then everything he was doing to show proof of the body being dead.
Damn.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
Dude, that's heavy duty. So the last time you've been here, you've gotten married, had a kid.
Right.
Your wife is Bobby?
Yes. Well, it was Bobby Awad, but now it's Bobby Vargas, which was Elena Cardone's best friend. She was traveling around with Grant Cardone and Elena and living with them when I met her.
Are they still... I think that's how I met her a couple times, out at Grant's house, maybe.
Yeah, she used to travel with them. Are they still what?
Are they still friends?
How do I say this? I'll just say it. Elena doesn't like my image. And I won't go more into that or as to why.
So is the answer no?
The answer is no. I think
it's odd that they don't keep friends very long.
No,
Grant and Elena.
And it's funny, I guess there was a joke that goes around with Grant and Elena and Bobby that they're like, oh, you're Elena's friend. And then Grant would be like, yeah, that's Elena's only friend. And then she lost her only friend because she didn't like my image of the CBD stuff. Because they're stable.
Well, they're Scientologists, dude, and they hate drugs altogether.
Okay, so I didn't want to say that, but you just said it. So
say
for that reason, because I don't want to insult Scientologists, but
it's not insulting to them. They just have zero tolerance for drugs, and they would. Yeah. I think they're assuming that CBD is a drug.
Correct. Their stable datum is that CBD is a drug.
Well, CBD's, in my opinion, not necessarily a drug at all. It's more of a nutrient because your body has CBD receptors.
Yeah, it does.
So wouldn't that make it a nutrient?
It's
your body has zero drug receptors.
Right. Okay? Yeah, I know.
We don't have receptors for drugs that were man-made.
Right. You have cannabinoids in your body.
there's receivers for it.
Yep.
So if you don't have cannabinoids in your body, you're malnourished.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
again, I wouldn't necessarily call it a drug, but I'm not Scientologist either.
I do know, just for the record though, I do know that
Scientologists will believe that, or do believe that.
for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. I do want to state on the record though, like they're not friends. They're just distant.
Yeah.
How you doing? Hope all is well.
They
Bobby
aren't
still
tight
talks
anymore.
to Grant and occasionally like, how are you? Anything we can do
Gotcha.
for you?
They're just not tight anymore.
Right.
So you got married Bobby Awad,
Right.
had a kid.
Correct.
What's the boy's name?
Elon.
Elon. Named after Elon Musk.
She likes to think that, but
Okay, you bought a new home, had long form of COVID. These are
Yeah.
some notes I made for myself.
all right.
You had long form COVID.
Yeah.
You mean
that's-
long COVID?
I call it a long form of COVID, but
Well, long COVID's different than COVID. It's what remains after, I guess.
yeah.
How'd that feel?
Terrible, to be honest with you.
So you had it.
That was the beginning of 2020. That's kind of like, do you remember being super active, right? Always in people's faces and doing parties with Jake Paul and doing all this crazy shit with money and blowing shit up. And that, but then I met
called
my
it
wife.
marketing, but yeah.
Right. And then I met my wife and we got COVID together, and that long COVID, whatever you want to call it. We ended up getting it and lost taste, smell, lack of motivation. And that's kind of like when it kind of put me in a little bit of a state of, I want to say a little bit of a state of depression, where it's like,
Just because you couldn't taste and smell?
no, because like the lack of motivation of like, you wanted to, my drive is like unmatched, like yours and other people's of our caliber. And the fact that like, I didn't have that, it like kind of,
Why do you think that went away?
As far as I understand, something happens to one of your pineal glands. And so like that drive that you have, and I'm not a scientist or doctor to go down the rabbit hole and explain it, but that's essentially where you get your motivation and your drive.
Really?
And then something kind of throws a blanket over that. And, you know, I say this and it doesn't sound like the
Like
best.
weed.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. I say this, but it doesn't sound the best, but I kind of felt like I understood what it meant. You know, you ever see those like really dumb people and you're like, well, I don't understand why they're just so like, hello, are you there? You know, and it's just that this non-motivation and like lack of drive. And I was on my couch for a long time. I gained a bunch of weight, and like I didn't want to work, and it starts to fuck with you mentally, especially when you're the total opposite all your life.
And this happened after you got married.
Yeah, so
what
my wife ended up getting COVID with me. She got a deadly form of skin cancer, and then she got pregnant all at the same time.
So what'd she think about your newfound laziness?
She wasn't negative about it. She understood, and she kind of like tried to help me through it, to be honest. She's like really supportive.
Yeah,
Like,
because if she married the hustler, that was out running and gunning and shooting and fighting and
Right,
fucking
yeah.
having fun, and then all of a
Right.
sudden, now she's got some dude depressed at home, not wanting to do anything.
Yeah,
That'd be a big change.
yeah, it was a slight form of depression. It wasn't like I'm gonna kill myself that deep, but it was like, I mean,
Dude, unmotivated.
You're the same way as me, dude. Like imagine like you're like the way that you are all your life, and then all of a sudden just you can't figure out why that you're this way, and like you don't want to do anything, and you're like it fucking drives you a little crazy. So I stopped my podcast. I only did 6 episodes of Confessions of the Hustler. I'm gonna restart that soon. Like I feel like a lot of things that were happening during that momentum that I had for many years stopped during the COVID part and the pandemic. And then it's kind of put me in this state, a mental state of just like wanting like to chill. And I'm like, all right, so let me just raise my kid and run my business. And now I'm like, I need to get out of that. I need to get back in the scene and restart my podcast and, do all these things that I'm doing now.
So what changed?
Pushing myself, my mindset, coaching people on their mindset helps me as well. I help people with mindset. I help people with business. And doing that kind of like is a therapy for myself and motivates me. So when I'm sitting there at nighttime talking to myself and looking in the mirror or like thinking about the things that I want to accomplish and like how do I accomplish them? And I know that there's got to be it was many times of me just like, I need to do this. I need to do this. Here's a list. I need to like take action. What's the plan of action? And then take the action. And that was important for me to do. So changing the mindset. I mean, mindset is everything.
Don't have to tell me twice. I always say, listen to people when they come to me. For some reason, people think I'm like this massively successful individual that has all the answers.
You do.
I don't have all the answers.
You have all the answers, Brad.
If I had all the answers, dude, I'd already be Elon Musk or someone like him.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Like half the time people come to me like, I don't know, dude. I'll give you what I do know, though. There's 3 things that if you focus on, you're pretty much guaranteed success.
Right.
Mindset is the first one. Mm-hmm. Skill set and habits. So if somebody's mindset's messed up, they don't think it's this easy. Like if I tell someone, dude, it's your mindset, your skills, it's not that easy. There's your mindset. That's your mindset. Exactly. Fucked up right there. Yep. So it is your mindset. And then once your mindset gets, let's say, abundant, because really you're just trying to get an abundant mindset. Mm-hmm. So once you start to believe in, abundance and possibilities, well, then now you have to move to your skill sets. Because, dude, if you're not very good at anything, just because you're positive about it doesn't make you good.
Right.
You can be passionately running in the wrong direction.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
So you got to get good. Yeah. Well, the good news is anyone can get good.
Yeah.
You don't need to be a color or a gender. Anyone can be good. You just have to practice, drill, rehearse, and get good. Then the next one is your habits. You can be killer with the mindset and killer with the talent and skills. But dude, your habits are fucked up. You ain't going anywhere.
I agree.
So I tell that. You're preaching to the choir. Mindset's everything. Okay, so this long form of COVID I want to talk about. What did it feel like every day for 6 months? Didn't it last 6 months?
So
you couldn't smell, you couldn't taste, and then one day you could?
Yeah.
Did you notice
like
it instantly?
A month later. It was that, like, once I stopped smelling and taste, I didn't smell or taste. It took about a month to come back.
Because, dude, I had COVID.
And then things, when it came back, certain things taste different. And that shit pissed me off. And it took a long time. Like, one thing I really like is truffle sauce. And truffle sauce tasted so fucking nasty after the fact. And I'm like, dude, what it tastes like a chemical. But it took quite a while for that to actually go away completely.
I got COVID and I lost my taste and smell for a week or so.
Yeah.
And it was weird, dude, not being able to taste or smell anything. And it really I just said, okay, cool. Then, I'm not going to be craving food because it doesn't really taste like anything.
Yeah.
So I used it to start getting in shape. So in your mind, what'd you do to say, I'm going to turn this into a positive?
A lot of talks with my wife. She's a public speaker and a coach herself, so that really helps. Like I said, it just more or less just like knowing a plan of action of what I needed to do and then putting my mind in it and actually doing it. But I mean, honestly, it's a lot of struggle and a fight within yourself, and the rest of the world looks at you and they think, a lot of successful people, I think the general public looks at us and says, wow, they're really motivational and they're really great, and see them on stage and talking and great. But then little do they know, like, a lot of us struggle with our own thoughts, and fucking, some people deal with mental health. Some people deal with a chemical imbalance in their brain where, like, they're flip-flopping. I mean, it just depends on the person. But for me, it was more or less like, I know what I need to do, but what is it that I'm going to do, and what's my goal and my intention? And once I figured out my intention and I created goals, and then I started doing them.
Do you think having the Buy Legal Meds online and the 2 brick and mortar locations helped you remain sane?
Not sane, but active.
They paid the bills, right?
Yeah, for sure. But not sane. More active, keeping my brain active, keeping myself like
busy.
We had 5 locations. We're moving on to 7, and then the pandemic happened and we lost 3. We were deemed as non-essential, so then we ended up having to close down 3 of them. They were brand new.
Who deemed that?
The city. governor.
They came and told you you're non-essential.
Yeah, put signs on my building.
Yeah, but that's hard to believe because alcohol stores were essential.
Well,
weed stores in states that's legal was essential.
It's so the way that the Vegas is ran, without saying too much detail. They say very mafia-like, but in a sense of like they're not mafia like smoking cigars and fucking carrying guns. It's the city officials, the government.
You didn't pay the right person.
No, it's not that.
What?
So I don't want to get myself in trouble, but the Marijuana Association deems us as like competition. So it's them, making sure that they were deemed as essential because they needed to continue to make money with all the people holding the licenses, and the city officials and judges that people don't know about that are tied to these dispensaries. Of course, they're going to be deemed as essential, even if whether that you think that they are or not. For us, it's like they weren't too worried about us, like and others, right? I was the first to do it, but then there's others that came after it, and they just deemed us as non-essential, and they didn't care. They just want to take care of the people that are in power and people that are making money with them. So,
during the COVID, nobody came here. I just stayed open.
Really?
I deemed myself essential. So, at some point though, the COVID went away,
right?
And the sun came out behind the clouds.
Yeah.
And here's Joe Vargas again.
Yeah.
Now you got Hustler Academy.
Mm-hmm.
You got frickin' the $1 million mastermind dinners. You're basically revamping and getting charged up again. What caused that recharge?
Just time, like I said, like talking to myself, motivating myself. Coaching other people helps me out a lot. It's like kind of a form of therapy for me. And then a lot of talks with my wife, man. My wife is fucking incredible. She's probably, I'll say this lightly. Like I see all these entrepreneurs and people talking and making it, the new meta right now is information and value. And some people are providing value and providing their lifestyle as well. But the ones that don't have a lifestyle anymore because they lost their money and then lost their momentum during the pandemic, they just podcasts, videos of value with education and going back to I just look at all those people and I'm like, dude, I tell my wife, I'm like, you're so much better than a lot of these people that are out there doing really well. She's such a great speaker, and like her way of like, if there's a problem, she knows the problem solving skills, like her people skills, talking, getting things that she wants is like on another level, dude. I'm not just saying that if she wasn't my wife and I knew her the way I know her now, I would say the same thing. And,
well, she's trained.
She's very, very trained. And, but she's kind of she's doing her own thing as well, but she has to take care of our 2-year-old. So she's running her business, Bodella.com, coaching herself, but she's not as active as a lot of these other guys and girls, women. But having someone like Bobby, man, like it's hard to explain, for other people to better understand. Like, she's just incredible.
This says you're relaunching the Millionaire Mastermind dinner on October 21st. That's right around the corner.
Yeah. So I used to do, before the pandemic, I had a Millionaire Mastermind dinners, and people would come and we'd have private chef and invite only, and it was great for networking and everybody making new friends and content, and so I just decided to bring it back. And it's I tried to do a lot but not too much, right? So like, you have one primary thing, and everybody always talks about like these hustles and 7 hustles, and you got to have all these streams of income, and certain things that you do kind of necessarily have to like make sense for each other. They have to complement each other. Like there's some people I read, I don't remember his name, but there was some guy that he did a podcast, and I happened to see it on YouTube, and I was like, oh, what's this? And then he had like 35 different companies. I'm like, that's crazy. But obviously he's probably not running them all. But with the dinner, I'm bringing that back, and it kind of complements the things that I'm doing now in my life. And it's just a one-night dinner, and it's easy. Like private chef, we're having, the Monster Mansion. Noel Lee, the CEO of Monster Cable, his house, my buddy M to the K. We're gonna have the dinner at his house. We have some celebrities coming, about 15 people, and then networking is free for invite only. Celebrities, entrepreneurs, people of value, big names in town, and just have dinner and network, and
Murad.
Who?
M to the K.
Oh yeah.
Oh, my man Murad.
That's right. You guys are friends,
dude. He's funny as hell.
So myself, my buddy Chuck, and my buddy Don, all three of us are gonna be doing that. And then where do people go if they want to try to hit those up? Well, we have to verify that you're an actual. I know, but they got to apply somewhere. There's no application. It's our network of people, our friends. So they just reach out to you and say, "Hey, I'm a millionaire. I want to go." Well, there has to be a little bit more verification for that, but yeah, it's like if there's a referral from Brad, like, "Hey, Brad, because this is my personal invite. I want you to come." If you have a friend, and and it's not necessarily like we had one guy that was interested that we had dinner at his restaurant, and he was like, "Well, I'm not really a millionaire in liquid right now because I have like 4 different restaurants. I'm investing into them." I'm like, dude, your assets are millions of dollars. Like you have 4 different great businesses, and not everyone not everyone. Dude, I got $1 million fucking smile. Yeah, there you go. So I'm a millionaire even if I'm broke. But you agree though, like most people that have money don't keep it in their bank account. True, but if you're smart, you're investing the money, you're making the money work with itself. You're not just letting it sit inside of a bank, fucking earning bullshit interest. True, I would agree. But I also say that if they have a lot of money, you probably got $1 million or $2 million laying around. Yeah, of course. Like anytime I really want to vet somebody, I say, show me $1 million, any account that you got. Yeah. Just show me $1 million in any account that you have. Yeah. Because I could show you millions of dollars in several accounts. Yeah. If I can't even show you that, dude, I'm full of shit. And you're famous for calling people out and you enjoyed busting full of shit people. It's not an enjoyment. It seemed like it anyway. To be honest, I don't do it as much anymore. I remember you used to do it before. I used to do it a lot, but it wasn't an enjoyment, to be honest with you. So I'm high functioning autistic, something I learned since last time I talked to you. And it's not really something I talk too openly about. But just the way that my brain operates bothers me. It's not an enjoyment. It's like it fucking bothers me. It's like a disease. I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's not necessarily a disease, but it sounds very negative. But you know what I mean? It's like, in other words, it's like it's not an enjoyment. It's the opposite. It's a nuisance. It bugs me. No, it does. I'm like OCD with it. Yeah, yeah. No, it kind of is. And so I just see shit, and I'm like, dude, this guy's so full of shit. I know more than he. Like, because certain people don't know like what others know. Name some full of shitters out there that might be out there currently that you want to warn people against. I don't want to do that right now. Why? No, that's good. See, I would. No. See, I'd take it a step further than just calling them out, dude. I'd point them out. Yeah, I mean, like, hey, you guys ever run into a guy named Blank? Stay away from him because that son of a bitch so full of shit. He's charging people to do this, that, and the other thing. He's full of shit. Yeah, there's a lot of those, though. We can be here all day. There are a lot of them. I just don't know them. Why? Because, dude, I don't hang around those people. Yeah. If I hang around somebody, dude, you can already tell they're legit, or I wouldn't be hanging around them. Yeah. And when I say that's hanging around, true. That's not true. When Brad. I say hanging around, yes, it is fucking true. No, bullshit. Name somebody I hang around that's full of shit. No, I'm not naming names, but I'm bullshit. Let me explain. Your definition of hanging around is different than mine. Because, dude, listen, if I hang around somebody, they're legit. Period. I don't hang around fucking fools. You have been in settings that I've seen that maybe you don't know. Listen, you don't settings. Like, I'm not saying people at your house. What does that mean? Like, Joe, do I hang around you? No, we don't hang around. Yeah, outside of doesn't mean you're not legit, but we don't hang around. If me and you hung around, guaranteed you're legit. Why? Because I don't hang around anybody that ain't legit. What's your sense of hanging around though? I've never seen you I've never seen anybody at your house. I don't see you at dinner with people. Like go. Everyone's fucking. So everyone, you know what I mean? No, it's just like if I hang around them, they're legit. Why? Because I don't hang around a lot of people, dude. And the people I hang around are legit, or I wouldn't be hanging around them.
that would not be hanging around them if they're not legit.
I kind of feel like though you're in a position to where you're around people because they're paying you to be around, or they want you to speak, and like you're very, very business orientated.
Well, sure. If somebody says, "Hey, come speak at my event. Here's your fee," I go speak at their event. It doesn't mean I'm endorsing them or their event. It just means that I'm speaking at their event. And not only that, if I honestly knew that this was a scam deal, I wouldn't do it anyway.
Got it.
But I'm trusting, dude. I literally trust people until they lose it.
Yeah.
Maybe I should be different, but like when someone tells me, we do this, like the Brandon Teeger dude, I'm like, now you're telling me you can set up a damn Amazon thing and I said, well, I'd have all one for my kids. I'd have 1 million of them.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, make me one. If you're so real, make me one. He never made me one.
That's right.
So I knew he was full of shit.
You asked me about that.
And I also yanked his episode. But I told people on the episode while he was sitting right here in my face, I said, I don't know this dude. I don't know if this guy's legit. Sounds like a fucking legit deal. Yeah. He ended up selling a bunch of people that program.
Yeah. And he owes a lot of people that money too.
That's when I realized I have followers with money. Because until then, I'm like, dude, ain't no one going to buy your $40,000 bullshit. Like, dude, $40,000, they're not going to give you that. He got like a bunch of people to give him that.
Same thing with Ecom Don, Aaron Chavez.
What'd he do?
He was, I guess, taking money from people and promising stores, e-com stores, and then just never actually doing it. Like there's one thing to take money from people with the intention of actually doing good business. And if you're saying, hey, Brad, give me 35 grand, I'll set up a store. My team and I will do everything for you, and you're going to reap 50% of the income that comes in. And that's the intention. And a site gets built, things actually happen the way that
rules change, something happens.
If the intention of actually following through with all the details of what you're promising actually happen, and it just fails, that's one thing.
That's one thing.
It just didn't do well, right? Like it is what it is.
It was a poor investment, but still not criminal.
The other part that's criminal, which is most of these guys are doing, is taking in money and saying that they'll do Amazon automation, they're going to set up e-com stores, and then they don't actually do it.
Yeah, with full well knowing they ain't doing nothing.
And
as soon as they take your money, they start to figure out how to avoid you.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like, Ecom Don is dead. I don't want to talk too negatively about him. Rest in peace, but there's a lot of people reached out, through the years, and I would tell him, and I'm like, dude, help these people, take care of them, because you're blocking them after they give you their money. Like, you have no intention of starting anything.
That's criminal.
And then after all that happened, people are like, hey, and I posted about it, and then people are like, is this true? Like, he owes me 35 grand, and I guess I'm never going to get it now. I'm like, no, you're not. He's passed away. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Well, again, I mean, let me ask you, because you do a lot of different things. What do you enjoy doing most? You got your fingers in understand NFTs, which I don't know if I told you, but I told people, fuck them NFTs. They're stupid. And dude, everybody was telling me, I'm crazy and I should make one for my brand. And I said, dude, I don't understand how they're going to be valuable without attaching it to something in real life.
Right.
Like, again, a digital picture of your ape. I don't care.
Yeah.
Now, if that digital picture or NFT, I should say, because again, it's not just a picture, it's a documentable original of a contract, really. Basically, it's a block in the blockchain.
Yeah.
So if I can prove, hey, this is that original ape, the value isn't the picture. The value is, what does that get me?
Right.
Because if it got me free access to private jets 24/7, it's fucking worth a lot of money. If it gets me unlimited rooms in Vegas, it gets me shit, I can go use Hustler's shit anytime I want as part of this NFT.
Right.
Well, now it's got actual tangible value. But a lot of those things were selling for the picture. And I'm like, I don't get it. It's never going to work. And looks like I was correct. Yeah. Or was I?
No, you were correct.
Because you were like into that shit.
Yeah, it was fun. It had a good time doing it, but it started going downhill for me when I acquired a project. So somebody launched a project called Not Okay Bears. They launched it. I don't know the true intention. I don't want to. He's a nice guy. I don't know the true intention, but it didn't look good. So when they launched, it was number one on OpenSea for the first 24 hours in activity. 4,000 holders in 24 hours. It sold out. And I don't think that this person had the intention of it getting so big. And so long story short, I ended up coming in, acquiring the project. It got delisted on OpenSea. Me and my lawyers worked to get it back on OpenSea a couple weeks later. If I didn't do that, the project would have went to shit and rugged everybody in about 4,000 people. And I acquired it, got it back on OpenSea, turned it into a real project, added a bunch of value to it, threw a major warehouse party here in Vegas for all the holders. Holders from around the world flew in, did the party for about 100 people. And a little bit after that, our community manager for the project ended up acquiring the project from me. So I turned it around, made it a thing, added a bunch of value, threw a party for him, and then handed off the torch to the community manager. But during that time, man, that's when I started realizing the ugly side of NFTs. It's not just the NFT part that you're talking about, if it's valuable or not. It's the people that come along with it. It's very like.
That's a bomb. You remember those?
Yeah, I do. The
people get mad now because I don't give them enough, and that's because I forget. I forget to give them after 5 years. This show's like going on 5 years old.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you.
But just the people in the community, I think that is a large portion of why Web3 has gone downhill, is because the people that are just involved in it. It's kind of okay to be anonymous. The type of people that are involved in it are just. Everybody wants in the world wants to feel like everyone's equal and this and that. Like in reality, they're not. There's classism. There's different mentalities. There's lower class mentality. There's upper class mentality. How people were raised and the environment and whether they lived in Section 8 and whatever else. And you have your Dodge owner, you have your Ferrari and Lamborghini owners. Like they're just different people.
But not better than each other.
No, it's just different mindset.
But watch this, Joe, because this is where like I keep it real, and a lot of people like feel weird by saying sometimes the truth. So if I were to say to you, answer honestly, do you think you're better than other people?
No, I think
ask me that.
Do you think you're better than other people?
Fuck yes.
I think, but
you go rob someone's house and beat up old ladies and rape little fucking kids. I'm better than you, bro. Yeah, I'm better than you. And I believe that. So yes, I believe I'm better than other people, but nobody wants to say that. Why? Because it's politically incorrect and you're going to look like an asshole. It's possible to believe that you're better than certain people without being pompous and arrogant and wrong. You are better than people. There are people in this world that you are a better individual.
When you break it down like individually, am I better than certain people? Yes. But
yes.
Am I better than all people? And like
I didn't say that. I said, are you better than certain people?
Well, okay, I don't remember you saying certain.
Oh, we can rewind it. How about I say it like this? Do you think you're better than people?
That's what you said the first time.
Do you think you're better than people?
Certain people, yes.
Certain people, yes. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
And we are. And there's again, like you said, Lamborghini owners, Dodge owners, is one better than the other? Not necessarily, because that's not the same context. But there are more quality people than people.
Right.
People that we're all equal. We're not all equal.
No.
There's some of us that are out there trying to help other people and do good, and they realize that you make money that way, and you get a lot of money that way, by the way.
Yeah.
And then there's people out there that are trying to rip and steal and harm people. Who's the better person?
Right.
This one.
Absolutely.
It doesn't make us bad because we acknowledge this. I acknowledge this. There are scumbags out there.
And it all comes down, think about what you just said. It all just comes down to mindset.
And it all comes down to self-worth.
Yeah.
I always tell people, dude, you want to raise your net worth? Raise your self-worth.
And no people, class, not the class system, right? Class, like, people don't have class. Like there's a lot of people that don't have class. And then they have a shitty mindset on top of it. Like you're just a shitty person.
That's what I'm talking about. So if there's a shitty person listening to this where they believe they're a shitty person.
Yeah.
Which usually, by the way, just so you know, if you think you're a shitty person, you're probably not a shitty person, because a shitty person wouldn't think they're shitty.
Right.
But if you think you're a shitty person, how would you coach them? How would you help them through it? Like depressed, where you were before, where you were just kind of just like unmotivated. You weren't really depressed, but Like you just didn't give a shit anymore. How do you spark somebody's desire to give a shit? Because now you're coming out with your $1 Million Mastermind. You got Hustlers Academy. You got freaking, it seems like you're coming out full guns ablazing. And by the way, if you guys, hustleracademy.com, talk about that real quick.
Yeah. Hustleracademy.com is, I've been wanting to get into the educational space, and a lot of people know me by Hustler because of my Instagram account and other accounts that are at Hustler. And that was a perfect name for what I'm doing and want to do. And basically it's just, I wanted to do courses on there, and I'm like, I don't want to do courses. If I do a course, it's like a one-off course. Like I had it set up, the hustleracademy.com was set up to be this ecosystem where people come in as a student and they pay a fee, and then they get courses for free. And then they become part of this network. And I'm like, you know what? I don't necessarily want to load up on courses and have a course school. And so I cut that off. And then, so basically it's going to be the Hustler Syndicate. It's going to be like a private elite network. And then also people will have classes. So like email deliverability, which is I'm really good at because I'm very successful on e-commerce. And there's like 39 things that you're supposed to be doing when you start an email address for your business, which most people don't know. Like Jesse from what's that one brand, Send, Full Send. Jesse from Full Send, I did a consultation with him and helped him out with his Bloody Sunday brand. He's found extreme value in that. Coaching for business, helping other people that are involved, helping them with their credit, and kind of creating this community of this, for the syndicate. And then eventually, we're going to do like specific, come in and learn about email delivery, come in and learn about e-commerce, come in and learn about marketing. So doing like, calls, right? Zoom calls and subjects of that base, but not courses. And then the other cool part about Hustler Academy is we have a section on there called Book a Hustler. So the Book a Hustler part, which is I was trying to get you on, and we were talking about, but I know you're busy. You have people on there like myself, my wife, Dan Fleischman, Hardcore Closer, many others. And so basically you can go on there and read about them. And if you, let's say, want to start an event, if you want to do charity work, I'm going to use Fleischman as an example, right? Longtime friend of mine for 15 years. Incredible guy. And I think you can get him for like $250 for, I want to say an hour, but you can go there and book him for an hour and ask your questions.
An hour on what?
I don't know if it's an hour or yeah. So it's on Zoom. So you book them. I don't know if it's $250 for 15
I'll book
minutes.
him for plenty of hours for $250.
No, don't quote. I mean, it's on the website.
Go to Hustler Academy and check it out.
Yeah, hustleracademy.com. But basically, like when you're Matt, take yourself back before business, right? And you do like, who the fuck do I talk to? Who do I go? Like now you can go to the best of the best in whatever industry you're looking to go into, or whatever subject you're trying to learn, or whatever. Book these people for little amounts of money for the value that you're getting, and and get a Zoom call with them. You can ask their questions, like the 15-minute mark on there. 15 minutes, you can book someone for 15 minutes, and generally you can get about 3 questions in. So if you have a burning question, if you have a second opinion that you want to get, like, yeah, you can go ask your buddy, but like, or you can go ask the best of the best of, the people that we have on the site.
They're out there doing it.
Go and book them.
Where can people go see who's on there?
Hustleracademy.com.
Go to hustleracademy.com, kids. If you want to do the mastermind dinner, you got to be invited, but where can they go to learn more about you and everything that you're doing?
Well, hustleracademy.com. You have buylegalmeds.com. You have my Instagram at Hustler. So,
or just if they Google you,
they can Google me too. Yeah.
And by the way, you were in the Navy before, yeah?
Yeah, for 8 years.
So you missed that at all?
No, I don't. I mean, that was 20 years ago, but 5 years on the ship and 3 years on shore duty. So I don't miss it. It was an interesting experience. At the time I was 19. I wasn't really doing shit with my life. I was worrying about girls, fucking selling weed and not doing nothing with myself, and had no really motivation to do much other than just like get by at the time and have fun. And my dad at the time gave me an ultimatum, and he gave me 30 days and I didn't get a job within those 30 days. And he was like, all right, you can't stay here. And I had nowhere else to stay. And so I was like, all right, I'll go check this out. And I talked to them all, Marines, Army, and Navy, and ended up joining the Navy.
8 years is a lot, though. What are these? What are these?
Oh yeah,
Cuban cigars sitting in front of you.
I'm glad that you brought this up. I actually brought you a gift. These are Cohiba Cuban cigars.
No, buddy.
Yeah, here.
That's about the best gift you can give a brother. Nice indeed. Yeah, little Siglo 6. If y'all know, y'all know.
I know you like to break down. This is drop some bombs right now, but you like to break down how do you know the validity of Cubans?
Well, there's several ways. And Cuban cigars are the most literally copied cigar. Like the fakes out there there's more fakes of a Cohiba specifically than any other cigar. Cuban cigars are ripped off so much. Their boxes, they're getting very good at it. So a few ways you can tell is, number one, the bottom. Just feel the bottom. Like right now I'm feeling it's an indent, and that's because the bottom, believe it or not, is not printed. That's an actual, like a, what do you call it when you brand? Yeah, brand. Like when you brand the steer.
Like a cow, yeah.
Yeah, you brand it. It pushes in. It burns that in there. That's a burn. That's not ink. Most people don't know that. So when you feel it, there's no dent. There's also a way you can tell right on this sticker. There's a very, very, very minute serial number right there. It must match that number right there. Most people don't know that. And then, there's other ways you can tell, because certain things, the way they do things, that'll always be this way. But you got to open them. And I mean, dude, still, like, I've been fooled. So you can get fooled. Just be careful. But those are a few ways that you can quickly tell. That has a dent. That has a number above the CA that matches this barcode. And if it doesn't, trust me, they're fake. If they do, if those two are there, more than likely you got yourself a real box. But sometimes they're opened, and sometimes people will take a real box and put in the fake version of it. Yeah. So it's difficult. Just trust who you're buying from. That's all I got to say.
Yep.
Or dude, like if it's a gift, I just appreciate it, even if they're fake, because if they were, you wouldn't know it. And you're not trying to give me a box of fakies. Right. So it's the thought that counts.
Those are real, for the record.
Yeah. Well, I know, dude, you're a resourceful dude. I know these are probably real. We're going to go smoke one right now.
Awesome.
Siglo 6, ladies and gentlemen, you know.
What? Let me ask you a question. Do you see a lot of people talking about on your podcast or on stages talking about personal brands?
Yes.
Like building personal brands. Do a lot of people do?
Well, not a lot of people
teaching
do.
How to, like, Fleischman talks about building a personal brand.
Sure, I talk about it. Like, dude, listen, anybody that has a brain in their head talks about it.
Yeah.
But the question is, so what is your question? Do I hear people talking about it?
Right. Like, not talking about it. Like, do you know of a lot of people teaching people?
Not many, but there should be more. I was thinking about doing one downstairs.
I do. That's why I'm asking.
You train people how to build a brand?
Yeah. I mean, look, I built a personal brand, like very successful at it.
I know, but maybe because I was going to put something on downstairs where I charge 3 to 5 G's, and I'll teach you what I did to build a personal brand, but I was going to bring in other people. Right. So the day is, how do you build a personal brand? Right. So again, maybe we can figure out how to get you there.
Yeah.
What is your belief in how to do it?
Well, I don't want to drop the game on this podcast, but
the game's to be sold, not told.
To be honest with you, I mean, what I can say right now is more about like learning how to create and tell a story. Storytelling is everything, right? Knowing how to market yourself, where to market to, who to collab with, what moves to make as far as like doing collaborations, doing mastermind dinners. Like, there's a lot of details that go into it. But in a sense, like, number one for personal brand is learning how to storytell, and a lot of people don't know how to do that. Yeah, or what story to tell. Right. Like, what message are you trying to convey to the world? Like, I try to tell my 19-year-old son, I'm like, my son owns Levant.com. He's a fashion designer, right? And I'm like, marketing wise, you learn how to market your brand, but I'm telling him, like, you need to learn how to storytell yourself, because when you start building more trust within yourself and becoming the fashion designer, the young guy that you are, but a lot of people don't know who you are. Like they see you making clothes and it's fucking cool and you do a great job and you're amazing at what you do and you taught yourself awesome, but like who are you? Like a lot of your content is like you doing the sewing and doing all this stuff, but I'm trying to teach him how to like storytell and talk about, let the world know who he is, so that way people can then attach themselves emotionally to them. And when they do that, then that they're like, all right, so people buy from other people, right? So when you learn how to tell a story, and then you're good at telling that story, and it can be consistent and not letting go. You know, you got to have a plan, like 1 to 5 years, 1 to 10 years. What's the goal? What do you want the world to view you as? And then when you can do that, then everything else kind of falls into play.
Well, you built one for yourself, so I know you know how to do it. That's the one thing I advise people, you know, see if they did it for themselves.
Yeah.
Because I've done it for myself, and I tell you what I did. Me and you should compare notes. We probably did the same shit too. That's what's funny, because it's usually the fundamentals that get the job done.
Right.
I go talk to a lot of people that are legit, like they're successful people. They're doing the same things. They're saying the same things. They're thinking the same things. They're like, there are fundamental basics of success. Mm-hmm. There's fundamental basics of building a brand, personal brand. There's choices one has to make.
Yep.
But, you know, like someone might not like my personal brand.
Yeah.
But what they're not liking is my choices.
Right.
I have a personal brand. There's no question.
Right.
Most people listening to this have a personal brand. There's no question. The question is, does anyone else know about it? Mm-hmm. Because that's the key, isn't it? You have a personal brand even if you have nobody following you. Why? Because if I look at your page, that's your brand right there.
Yeah.
But does anyone know about it? And is it worth anything? So somebody wants to build a personal brand. How do they reach out to you? How do people get a hold of you?
That's a good question.
DMs. You're back in action, Joe.
Well, they can go.
Vacation's over, brother.
Right. DMs on Instagram. I have a team and assistant that manages that for me. But email wise, you can go to contact at. This doesn't go directly to me, but
is there any way to get a hold of you?
No. I mean, no.
See, now you know now you know he's legitimately successful, because if he wasn't, he'd be begging you to get a hold of him so he could sell you a bunch of shit. Here's my phone
number. I should be like, what's that one rapper, Mike? He used to rap his phone number and actually answer the text message. Like it was like,
dude, if you're hungry out there hustling to get money, dude, you're giving out many ways to reach you.
Let me finish telling the email. Contact at hustleracademy.com.
Contact at hustleracademy.com.
Right. Or DMs on Instagram at a hustler.
Yeah. But a team answers those.
Yeah. But I mean,
you ain't getting to him is all I'm saying.
You come to a point where it's like, you like filter this. Listen, before I did that, I was getting a lot of people. I would post a story and a lot of people were following my lifestyle and following me being a dad and following whatever, me being a husband or blowing shit up or whatever the case may be. And I would post something and say, DM me this word for this specific thing. And a lot of people are kind of wasting my time. People want to be rich and people want to be better off than what they are, but they didn't have the $100 that whatever it was, they didn't have. Right. And I'm like, damn, I'm wasting my time with a lot of these people. Or, so it's just more of like a vetting system.
Yeah.
It's like, it's common. So a lot of us do.
Build a team.
Yeah.
Well, dude,
vet the people before you, then the team is like, all right. Or it depends on what you're doing, right? Like there's a series of questions, like please answer these series of questions to see if you're a right fit for what we're doing. It just depends on what you're doing. But when you're getting random fucking messages on Instagram, you don't know who's what and who's who. Not everybody's Bradley and your face is on there. A lot of people operate there's a lot of people I think that have potential that operate anonymously. But when I see a non-picture anonymous person, I'm like, I don't know. Like, and then I got to sit there and talk to them, and it becomes a waste of time. Or I'll be like, they're interested and they know the price of something. Let's just say it's a coaching program. I'm like, I'm taking 5 more people to coach, depending on whatever. Let's say this one specific that I'm talking about is e-com. You want to be better at your e-com store and sell products, DM me e-com. It's going to be $3,000 or $5,000, whatever it is. And they know that. And then they'll get my attention, and I'm like, all right, so this is before all this vetting part happened. And then I'm like, all right, it's $3,000, you pay through here, and then they leave. That is wasting my time. So it's just easier.
So you built a system to make it more streamlined.
Correct.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, dude, one of these days I'm going to expect a book.
I have a book.
What's the book called?
So the book is called Common Sense Made Common. It got developed to be like a series of books. The first one was 21 Common Sense Tips for Relationships. It's on Amazon. But basically Common Sense Made Common was like, what's that one book where it's like for dummies?
Yeah, the Dummy series.
Yeah. So it was set up to be that. I wrote it in 2014. One of the hardest things I've ever did. But basically the series, the first one is talking about 21 common sense tips for relationships. And then the ones down the road that I do, it'll be more common sense tips for different subjects.
Well, Joe Vargas, we appreciate you coming in. I'm glad you're a local.
Thank you for having me.
You can pop in more often.
Right. You know, I don't want to prolong this podcast, but speaking of that, like these guys, I find that the podcast scene is really weird. Like I'm going to restart Confessions of a Hustler. Like I mentioned, podcasts, I just got to find a place to do it. And that's what I'm searching for now. So I'm talking to my podcast manager that's going to be getting me on more podcasts. And I was like, so tell me about what's the meta for podcasts right now? And he was like, well, what do you mean? I said, I see all these people going on podcasts, but like, are they just flying around on their own dime? And do people know how many listeners? Like I have a problem with like going to a podcast in another state and then the person, like, I don't even know what I'm going, like how many people are listening to this? Like, I find it kind of a little weird, but not too weird that I would have to fly on my own dime to go to people's podcasts, not know how many people that do listeners, because a lot of these guys don't show their analytics, right? And then that's it. And I'm like, certain people want me on their podcast, especially recently, and I'm like, yeah, sure, if you pay for my travel, then I don't hear from them. Well, obviously they don't see the value, right? It's like that goes in the whole rabbit hole of like people don't buy things that they don't see value in. That could be the case, right? They don't say. But I just find it weird that fucking the event space, you get paid to be there, but the podcast space, certain individuals are more valuable to their show than their show is to them. And they want everybody to travel. Like I see everybody traveling around, but I don't know if everybody's getting paid to be there. And a lot of people are not, I was told. Well,
just for the record, a lot of people travel here to be on this show, but only because I have a lot of listeners.
You do.
And they react. Like you'll know when this thing drops because my team reacts. But
it's not just that, dude. You're of all the podcasts that I've been on, I'll be straight up. I'm not just being bullshit right now. Of all the podcasts I've ever been on, I would say like the most feedback that I got from their listeners that are loyal to them and looking and have money, that are business people. Like
I call them real.
That's what you attract. But the feedback that I got last time I was on your show compared to other people, it's been the most from your show. So if anybody's listening to this, it's true. If anybody's listening to this, like that's a true statement. I'm not making that up. But I also haven't gone. I mean, I don't know all the podcasts. I got a list of podcasts because my manager wants me to go on podcasts, and he's like, "Here's a list. Choose." There's some that I won't go on. I won't say names, but there's some people in town.
You don't ever say names.
No, because you want to know why? I feel like I'm giving them clout by saying, like, making them important by saying their name. You know what I mean? Like if it's somebody that actually is like important, I just don't fuck with them. I'm like, yeah, I don't fuck with them, but I respect it. But to certain people, I'm just like, don't want to give energy to them. I
don't blame you, dude. That is flow and power to somebody.
Yeah.
Are you a Scientologist?
No.
Is Bobby still?
No.
Or nobody's business?
No.
No. Okay, good. Well, not good, but interesting. Interesting, I should say. All right. Well, listen, folks, as always, hit the dude up at Hustler, easy to find. Give him some feedback this time. Blow his ass up just so he knows the power of the bomb squad.
Yeah.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for the cigars.
You're welcome.
And until next time, folks, keep it real.
Return is turning things tech. Tesla won't just be a car company. It's a platform that people are paying monthly to use the tech, and other companies will build off that. ChatGPT is tech, and other people, Apple is building on top of ChatGPT. So If you can own the rails of something, so bodybuilding can become the rails